Blue says hello to all of you and says, hey, fisticuffs it out there, people. We can all be fit in fisticuffs and enjoy those ketone bodies, those little particles of energy that give us not just a physical boost, but a brain boost. So that's mental stamina and also emotional fortitude. So if you're going through a rough patch in your life, I hear you. But I'm telling you, and I can't necessarily get rid of the rough patch for you, but wielding the power of ketosis will make getting over that rough patch just that much easier. We've been through the ringer with a couple different life stuff here. My husband and me and Blue and my daughter Erin, our other two kids are on the West Coast. They're not hit as much as we are, but we've been negotiating some stuff between the hurricane and the big move and a chronic disease that we handle all day, every day. So we understand rough patches, and we also understand that we have a choice. And if we seek and learn some science that will help make the ride a little bit smoother, isn't it worth it? I think so. Are we ready to start, Char? Okay, gives me a thumbs up. Blue's going to go down. Say goodbye, everybody. Bye, Blue. Okay, she'll probably jump up as we're talking. I got my index cards here. I was going to go through this with Charlie, and I realized I didn't go back to the beginning. So, if you saw my video that says, join me today, or tonight, or tomorrow night, because, see above my head, Keto Krazy. If we are seeking a solution to some kind of health crisis, and generally, it's a metabolic health crisis, because everything out there that's scary these days, it's not something we caught, although the flu is pretty bad, right? But we're talking metabolically driven situations. The good old weight gain, of course, a menopausal, lousy, fibromyalgia, avoiding Alzheimer's and heart disease, establishing an anti-cancer environment. So I want to avoid getting cancer, not getting cancer, developing cancer, or if I have it, how can I even tip the odds in my favor in beating it? Certainly diabetes is in there and a plethora of others. Well, this is why the world is using this word keto so much. You see, a lot of us out there have latched on to it. We're noticing people who have a little more energy, a little more pep in their step. You can see it with me, right? And my Shift Insiders feel it every day. And then people ask them, what is this keto craze? What is this thing that's going on? Well, when you think, hi, my name is Barbara McDermott. I am founder and coach of Shift Formula, and we have a community of seekers and sharers and supporters called Shift Insiders, and so you can learn everything you need to learn and be guided through to getting out of your health crisis and drop weight once and for all. But tonight we're going to talk about this idea of keto craze. And if you think about the word craze, it means something that's in fashion right now, something that's really popular. And the idea of keto is, more of us are hearing things like, what's this intermittent fasting thing? There's something they're drinking called fat coffee? What the heck is that, right? How about, I need to add some more healthy fats to my diet. What's the difference between healthy fats and not healthy fats? Doing keto diet. Some people doing keto challenges. Well, following a keto plan or a keto diet, I think, especially if the plan is promoting things like pills and powders and potions that you have to buy to make keto happen, it's a little bit misleading. Okay, it's like learning complicated math, right? And I always go back to this. I used to be a 8th grade teacher, and math was never my strong suit. So we're always looking for shortcuts. How do I solve that problem without really learning all of the math, right? And when you end up trying to do that, you solve some of the problems, but when the big test comes, you know that the high scorers are the ones who actually know how to solve the problem. And that's really what Shift Insiders is all about. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So understanding what keto really means. Okay.
Hey, real quick, we
Yes.
have Jenny here.
Hi, Jenny.
Jenny Parker. We have Heather.
That's Jenny
Halligan
again.
from Westchester. We have Carol Riley.
Carol,
And,
finally.
A bunch of other folks.
I thought you might be
who
napping.
Introduce themselves yet. Tell everyone to introduce themselves. Remember to like.
Oh yeah,
Page.
you have to like. You have to like our page, please, because it tells Facebook that we're doing something of value and we're not just, messing around here. Right?
Yep.
And it allows us to be able to reach you. Is that right, Char?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a little, there's a formula. We have to understand the formula behind how Facebook even works. So, anyone taking notes out there, grab your pencil and paper. Thank you for the thumbs up. It floated across, whoever that was. Hey, give me some love too. I'm feeling, I need some hearts. Okay, let's look at why something's even called keto, okay? The science word behind that, is that in the frame chart? Is something called ketosis, okay? Is that in there, Char?
I'll tell you,
Yes.
it's delayed. So,
Okay, so ketosis is
it will
what
be.
we would call a metabolic state. When we think about metabolic, it's the pathways and the biology and chemistry that our body uses for energy exchange. For example, the dinner I ate tonight, through my metabolic pathways, will become energy. I'll either store it on my body or I'll use it to fuel this workshop today. So when we talk about metabolic, it's about the energy exchange. So ketosis is actually a metabolic state, okay? Ketosis is a metabolic state. And guess what it's a metabolic state of? Shift Insiders, you know the answer. It's fat burning. How many people are saying, yeah, I want some of that, right? We all want to be a fat burner. Nobody wants to carry excess body fat on their body. Now, we need fat in our body. It's not about being some ridiculous version of skinny. No, we want to be slim and strong, right? But we also want to be able to achieve ketosis in order to reduce the amount of body fat in our body. So this is where the keto craze comes from. It's based upon this metabolic thing. The cool thing about ketosis is that when our body burns fat for fuel, we actually produce something called ketones. So now can you see these words and where the word keto comes from? Right there. K-E-T-O, right? So if we're in a keto craze, whether we know it or not, and what we're doing, we're actually wielding the power of ketones. Now, some people think that ketones are the way to get to ketosis, but it's not really true. Ketosis actually produces ketones, and ketones are just energy, particles of energy, I'm going to call them, okay? Particles of energy. So just hold that in your head. So metabolic state of fat burning, okay? Burning fat produces these beautiful energy particles called ketone bodies. So when we hear the word keto, it's really just its street name. I like to say that. It's like, yo, are you doing keto, yo? Right? That's what that is. And then ketogenic would be what? Jenny. Keto Jenny, I'm going to call you now from now on, keto, okay? It's just your way of eating. It's just the way you do it. It's eating in such a way that what happens? Ketosis happens, okay? So ketogenic just means a way of doing something, and keto is its street cred name, okay? I'm going to erase this bottom half, but I'm going to keep up there. So let's go a little deeper into the science, because that's what you are, deep. Our body has just, this is how I love it. It's simple. Our body, your body, human body, has just two different primary sources of fuel, okay? We can, and sticking, see this word ketosis? That's one way of fueling our body through ketosis. The other is through something called glycolysis. Did I spell that right? Glyco. See that glyco? Glycolysis, yes. So that's going to be, what do you think we're burning when we're in glycolysis? We're burning glucose. Does anyone know what glucose is? Anything with an ose, lactose, fructose, sucrose. It's just another version of literally sugar, okay? So if we were in glycolysis, we are actually in sugar burner. If we are in ketosis, our word that's written at the top of the board, keto, what are we burning, everybody? Yay! We're burning fat.
Heather had the right answer, by the way.
Go, Heather. Heather had the right answer. So, here's the interesting thing. If we are in sugar burner mode, okay, and here's the other part. We will always be doing both of these processes, okay? No one is ever always in ketosis. But I will say, there are some of us who have been trapped in the sugar burner cycle of insanity, I call it. And if we're carrying excess body fat in our body, and no matter how much exercise and how much portion control and how much willpower we have done, we can't solve it. It's because we've been stuck there. Okay? And when we are a sugar burner, there's a couple other lousies. Number one, we can't burn body fat. That's a big lousy. And that has to do with some hormonal pieces involved. But when we're burning sugar, there's a byproduct. There's always a byproduct. Like, for example, if I was having a campfire in my backyard and I have the friction and energy of heat, what's the byproduct of that? Well, we get heat. That's the energy. That's awesome. But there's also smoke, right? There's a byproduct. That's called a byproduct. It's produced by this energy exchange that's going on. So if I'm in sugar burner mode, guess what I'm producing every time I burn sugar? It's lousy. I'm creating free radicals. You ever hear of free radicals? They are the mayhem that interrupt cellular processes, because basically as a free radical, it's like, I'm free. It needs another electron to keep it whole and not reactive. And this is what ping-pongs around our body and makes our skin start to deteriorate. As we get older, we accumulate more and more of these. Okay, that's why sugar burners tend to age faster than fat burners, because guess what? Fat burners, when you burn fat, you don't produce any free radicals. That's awesome, right? We don't produce that. And not only do we not produce a negative byproduct, we actually produce a positive. And we know what that is. It's those ketones. Okay, so when you're burning fat for fuel, not only you're not doing that, but you are doing that. Okay, so this is why there's a keto craze out there. Most people don't know why they're crazy for keto. They don't know the science. They just know what? I've lost body fat loss, and boosted energy. That's what they're experiencing. Body fat loss. It's not like the body fat loss in itself gave them the boost of energy, although it certainly will, right? If we're lighter, we're lighter, right? But it's a double whammy of lightness. Body fat loss, boosted energy. Okay, how you doing with your writing? Are you taking notes? Because I want to put a little bit more on. Okay, let's leave that up there. Actually, you know what? I think I can get rid of all this. So here's another thought. I want to ask you this. And I think if you are here tonight, generally, a proportion of our viewership tonight, our student body here, came here with weight loss in mind. Okay, the reason I say that is because oftentimes a weight situation is part of other situations, right? Too much body weight is a part of diabetes, generally, part of fibromyalgia, heart disease. I'm even going into brain degenerative things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Okay. Most of the lousies, and these are all metabolic situations, including cancer, metabolic disease. Okay. We don't catch any of these things, do we? We don't catch any of those. You don't catch Alzheimer's or MS or Parkinson's. You develop it. Okay. And oftentimes, more often than not, it is involved with a weight situation that can't resolve. So, basically, when we are in a quest for weight loss, okay, we want to get that to go down, right? What are we really trying to accomplish? You think about, if I weigh my body, what's the scale going to reflect? My bones, my teeth, all the fluid I'm carrying in my body, my muscles, right? And my body fat. Well, the body fat doesn't weigh as much as the muscle does. So stepping on the scale can often be quite misleading, because when we're saying, if your doctor says, drop a few pounds, lose a little bit of weight, I just have to watch my weight. What we're really trying to do is this. It's body fat reduction, right? Not elimination. We need fat on our body. We need fat in our, our brain is 60% fat. Can you see why shifting the way you're eating is going to enhance your mood, enhance your mental capacity. Gosh, if I could go back and teach again, well, I'm teaching now, but those 8th graders would have been like soaring. I'd have them all eating differently. But what we're really trying to achieve is body fat reduction. And here's the thing. If you get one thing out of tonight's seminar, I hope this is it. There is not one thing, not one substance that we can eat that's going to burn body fat. You know, I always think about Tina Fey. She's the best script writer. Isn't she out there, that women? In Mean Girls, Rachel McAdams' character was putting on some weight, okay? And then Katie, who was played by that awesome Lindsay Lohan, is giving her a bar. Like it was actually a weight gain bar for people in countries who don't have enough food. It was a lot of carbohydrate, blah. But she said, oh yeah, this just burns up the carbs. It eats up the carbs. It burns up the body fat. You know, we are led to believe that there's some potion, powder, or pill out there that we can consume that it is going to burn our body fat. You know what burns our body fat? You do. We need to understand that there's this way we can set up in our internal environment that our body will actually shift to using the body fat we're carrying to fuel our day. That's how weight loss, as we know it to be, occurs. By body fat reduction, because the body fat is going to be used metabolically, energy exchange, to fuel your day. Okay, let's move backwards a little bit. We're going to go backwards, which is rare for me because we are definitely forward thinkers here. Okay, there's no direction. There's no direction in life but forward, right? Oh, we can go lateral, we can go back, but what we really are trying to do is move forward. But one of the best ways to understand how to move forward is know where we came from. Okay? So this idea of keto from a historical, I love history, perspective. Wait, isn't this like a new thing? I never heard of keto before. Isn't that a new thing? No, believe it or not, this has been around since 500 BC. That's BC. 500. Guess who first started the craze of keto? Hippocrates. He's considered the first physician, okay? And what he noticed, let me write him down, just in case you're writing. Hippocrates, back in like 500 BC, when he was helping people with illnesses, what he tried with them is good old this. Look at this word. Fasting. I know the first time I saw fasting in this perspective, I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? We got to stop eating? However, this is what Hippocrates did back BC period of history. He noticed that when certain ailments were deprived of food, they healed. I would say to my 8th graders, so connect some dots for me, everybody, critical thinkers out there. What could that mean for us? Does it mean that starving heals our body? How about think of it this way? Maybe the food we had been eating was causing the illness. Maybe just by not eating, your body was able to do what it's naturally designed to do. You think about it, your body would just perform if it didn't have outside endogenous, exogenous things in it coming inside of your body, right? So Hippocrates was the first one who did our neato keto thing, okay? Hippocrates. Next one. Here's a guy named Dr. Wilder. Oh, I forgot the L. Sorry. Dr. Wilder. This was 1921. Okay, now we're at least kind of we know where we are now, right? The interesting thing is this, and this I can understand this. This man, Dr. Wilder, started to use it to treat people who had uncontrolled seizures, epilepsy. And what he did is he took Hippocrates' idea of fasting and then realized there was a way to eat that mimicked fasting in our body. Wait. So wait a second. We hear the word fast, we think that means don't eat. And you're telling me, Mrs. McDermott, Barbara McDermott, Shift Insider Captain, you're telling me that I can actually eat and my body will mimic fasting? So he put this idea together, a ketogenic diet, and he said that it mimicked fasting. And there's that word keto, right? There's that word keto. What did we just say a few minutes ago? What did I say 60% of our brain is comprised of? What did we say it was? 60% of the human brain is comprised of fat. I didn't say sugar. I didn't say carbohydrates. I didn't say protein, did I? Fat. I have children, this doctor's saying, with uncontrolled seizures, electrical, right? Their brain is firing. Think about fat. Think about butter, lard. It's very coagulated. It can be used as an insulator, right? It insulates. Take sugar and rub it on your arm. What happens? It scratches, right? It's actually corrosive. Take some butter and rub it on your arm. We all know, coconut cream lotions, right? Same thing for our brain. Not that we're, lotioning our brain, but we're providing it with the macronutrient it needs. Let's move on. Now I'm just going to do one more. We have a guy named Otto Warburg. Warburg. This was also in the 1920s. I do have a tape. Isn't it interesting? Someone has shared this with me. She says, and I'm always saying I want type 1 diabetes out of here. I want cancer out of here, right? Here, look at these two things. This guy was all about using the ketogenic diet to starve cancer. Starve cancer. But look, that we're using the same platform, the same formula for epilepsy, cancer. Today we use it for fibromyalgia, for diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS. If I don't name them all, it's just because I'm not standing here naming them all. But every metabolic mayhem can be softened, if not completely solved, applying these principles. So how did Otto Warburg come up with this starve cancer cells? I'm going to tell you on the next slide. Okay. But interesting, huh? Historically that, right? I do have to say that during these 1920s, from my perspective, because I have a daughter with type 1 diabetes, they were treating type 1 diabetic patients, these poor children, they were starving them because eating was killing them. That's a whole other thing to talk about. But eating was killing these children. The only way they could preserve their life or extend it was to starve them. Who wants to live starving? Some of you probably feel like you're living starving. If you're trying to lose weight and it's not working, that's what it feels like, right? But all these different diseases, using the same science, because we're all just human bodies. You think about it, how can it be this complicated? The human body is just the human body, right? Well, the reason these things lost popularity, why did they lose popularity? The pharmaceutical companies started developing. So instead of using a different way, I would say a shifted way of eating, let's just give them a pill. Let's just give them some powder. Let's give them some radiation and some chemotherapy. Now, not to say that medications and therapies like this are not valuable. Maybe they're just not the whole answer though, right? So let's see why Otto Warburg had said that we can starve cancer cells by applying the principles of a ketogenic way of eating. So, if we have ketosis going on, is this losing my ink chart? Are we doing okay? If we have ketosis going on inside of our body, right? There are, I would say, and what's ketosis? Metabolic state of fat burning. Okay, we're burning fat. Well, there are there are 3 defining, I use the word phenomena. 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 Yes. 3 defining phenomena. Say that 7 times fast. Happening inside of us when we are in ketosis. Gotta look at crazy lady. Okay, number 1. First thing that happens during ketosis if you're in fat burning is this is why I use the word BS a lot. Belief systems, butter and, I don't know, it's actually for blood sugar. Your blood sugar will drop if it's been elevated, and it will stay beautifully steady. Okay, so in ketosis, our blood sugar is down. Just at a healthy spot, like 80 or whatever you want to say is your healthy spot. There's no exact number. But for those in the diabetes world, we know what 700 is. We know what 350 is. We know what 198 is. We know we're shooting for that perfect place between 90 and 111. Everyone has their own numbers that they're shooting for, okay? That happens. And that's a good thing, because for those of you who have experienced this, you know how lousy it feels to have a rise and a fall and a rise and a fall. And if you have cravings, that's what's happening to you. Okay. Number 2 that's happening when we are in ketosis, whenever BS is going up or down, so too is the hormone that manages our BS, insulin. So that little mighty hormone will also be down. Okay. When we are consuming foods that are raising our blood sugar, insulin has got to do its job. And whether you are taking insulin or you're watching your insulin and taking medications to assist your insulin, your body is still going to be using this mechanism. Okay? Now, did I write this here? This insulin, ready for the good, bad, and the ugly? That's the hormone that regulates, controls fat storage. Okay? Insulin is 100% non-negotiable, life-sustaining hormone. We all must, at all times, have levels of circulating insulin. It's not about that. What we need to do is make sure that our insulin levels are not raised to a place where we're constantly creating fat from the foods that we're eating. Okay? So those 2 things happen with the ketosis going on, state of fat burning. The third thing, the phenomena that we are experiencing in ketosis, if we are in our keto craze, what do we say is the byproduct of burning fat? Ketones, right? So ketone, let's just say ketone production is up. And if you meet somebody who says they're doing something keto and they have this energy and they're flying out the roof, you can thank ketones for that. Okay, that's what's doing that. Now, think about this. We were thinking about epilepsy in the historical perspective, right? The overexcitability that sugar can manifest on the body. Think about a kid who has in a sugar high, pick any holiday and the amount of candy heaped on the child, and what does that child do? He almost self-destructs, right? So BS, blood sugar, can overexcite the brain. This is why diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, okay, any brain excitedness is not conducive to consuming sugar. And by sugar, it's all carbohydrates. Good, bad, whatever kind of carbohydrates. They create sugar, which is glucose, which is the same as blood sugar. Okay? Also, interesting to note is that glucose, let's just write it up here because we know what we're talking about when we say blood sugar. It's actually glucose. We just have so many different names for things. Glucose actually is cancer cell fuel. Wow, right? That, you know what, right? And cancer cells rely on a lot of glucose and insulin. Insulin also supports cancer cell growth. It helps with creating an environment, angiogenesis. It's the creation of the blood drawing in network that supports the life of a cancer cell. So when we're in ketosis, let's look at this. If we're in ketosis, this is down and this is down. That means my brain is calmed and fortified, and cancer cells are not being fed. That's a great thing. Can you see why Otto Warburg said a ketogenic diet can be a therapy in starving cancer cells? Now we get it. If these two things fuel cancer, wouldn't we want to eat in such a way where those two things are less often happening? Yeah. And the other thing is that this awesome thing is happening more. So the lousy stuff is happening less, and the good stuff is happening more. And the cool thing about this ketone production, ketones, now think about a brain that it's diagnosed with Alzheimer's. You know what that means? And this is just a 5th grade version, okay? But when we have a brain, this was my mom-in-law, she died of Alzheimer's. Not cool. You know, a brain, and she was slim. You would think that it had something to do with like a weight condition. It's actually just a steady supply of too much glucose, carbohydrate. But anyway, an Alzheimer brain, think about it, it wants to suck up glucose, sugar, brain cell for energy. We know that our brain will use glucose to fuel. But we're not told often enough that actually can use another fuel. In fact, if my brain cell, this is really going to be bad, but here's my brain cell, okay? Think about a lifetime of carbohydrate heavy eating and not enough fat. Remember we said how fat has that softening and sugar has that corrosive? There's a whole thing called AGEs, and I can do a whole nother video on that. But this brain cell becomes almost crusted with sugar. Think about cotton candy, soft, fluffy sugar. And the wind blows on it, a little moisture from the ocean, what happens? Crusted. Plaques of crust develop on brain cells, and now the glucose can't even get in. It's like a drain that's clogged with corrosion. But guess what can get in there? Even with all of this stuff, what can get in there? So even a brain that's corrupted by Alzheimer's, developing dementia, can actually use ketone bodies to fuel. Mary Newport, another doctor of today, she tried this out on her husband who was developing advanced Alzheimer's and was able to pull him way back.
Heidi mentioned when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, she told her doctor how much she enjoyed licorice and root beer. Her doctor told her to go ahead and enjoy them, probably put her in the grave even faster.
Oh, so it was Heather?
Heidi.
Heidi just shared that her mom was diagnosed with a form of cancer, and the mom had shared she loves root beer and licorice. Yeah. You know, I like that too. And the doctor said, well, just go ahead and enjoy those. You know, enjoy. And this is what happens. And she also shared that might have put her into her grave sooner. You know, lives that are cut short, not cool. And I don't even know how to say that. I didn't mean to be sensitive to that. But, you know, there's something to be said for don't try so hard, just be easy on yourself. But when people just don't even know that there's a way out besides the root beer and the licorice. Okay, moving on, right? So what are we trying to do with a keto or ketogenic way of eating? Basically, we each individually strategically eat to trip our metabolic pathway from preferentially relying on glucose, sugar, and being a sugar burner, and literally shifting to relying on fatty acids, fat. So instead of being an overproducer of free radicals as a sugar burner and the production of body fat from the carbohydrate actually becomes belly fat. Okay? We can actually shift use our body fat for fuel, and produce these beautiful ketones. Okay, so we're setting up our internal conditions for creating that metabolic state called ketosis. And here is what I love. You know, in the world, there are only two main powers operating the universe. Do you know that? It's love and all the emotion and energy that goes with love. And the opposing one is fear. And fear encompasses everything from doubt, inadequacy, frustration, failure, incessant worry, self-criticism. Not me. No, it can't happen to me. What makes you so different from everybody else? Why can't it happen to you? Ketosis. Anybody can do it. You were created to do it. You know, if you want to look ancestrally or prehistorically, the ketosis is the mechanism in place to preserve human life in times of scarcity. Food, I can't find any food today. Eunice, I can't find any mammoths to kill, and I can't find any berries. And this can go on for a while. Our body shifts to consuming what we're carrying. Think about a polar bear. And I don't know this factually, but I'm just throwing it out here. I would say to my 8th graders, what do you think about polar bears when they hibernate in the winter? What metabolic state are they in? Right? Ketosis. They're not eating, so they're relying on their body fat to fuel their winter. Do you think you could do it once in a while to fuel your day? Heck yes! Of course you can do it. And the cool thing is that your energy is going to be elevated. Why? Why is your energy going to get elevated? Because by burning fat, you're going to also produce ketones. Double win. Lose body fat and give yourself the benefit of these wonderful energy particles. And here's the other thing I love. Not only is energy, let me write it down because sometimes it's better to see it, not just hear me say it. Energy goes
blue marker.
Energy goes up out of the roof, and this is what happens to this bad boy. Anyone have these? Anyone know those demons? Not only does this happen to Cravings, but my Shift Insiders, they email me all the time. They said, Barb, my cravings haven't lessened. They've been eliminated. And it actually, it's a true thing. Do you think a polar bear scratches his head every 3rd day and says, I'm really craving something? No, he is completely satisfied. He is not craving anything.
In June, just so we're all correct here, polar bears don't hibernate.
Oh.
Only black, brown, and grizzlies do.
Okay, so polar bears don't hibernate.
June.
Which June? Is that June Fraser?
June O'Reilly.
June O'Reilly. My maiden name's Riley, June. June says polar bears don't hibernate. Black bears, grizzly bears, and...
black, brown, and grizzlies.
Black, brown, and grizzlies. Thank you, June.
So you just never know what you're going to learn on these
You don't. I don't even know why I even brought up a bear. But I was just thinking to myself, gosh, when you think about it. But here's the thing, too. So what are we as human beings, what metabolic state are we when are we most often in ketosis? Think about my faux pas with the polar bear. Should be brown bear, black bear, grizzly bear, but it's during our sleep. It's our ideally 8 to 12 hours of sleeping. We should be in ketosis, burning fat. We're not eating, right? And if we didn't have a high carbohydrate meal before bed, which we tend to do because the cravings call us if we're a sugar burner. But that's when we're in ketosis. That's why when we wake up and our first meal of the day is called a what? Break fast. Because I was in a fasted state, which was ketosis, and now I'm going to break it by eating something. Okay?
Heidi says your video on cravings is fabulous.
Oh, my video on cravings is fabulous.
It was a Facebook Live.
That was a Facebook Live. Thank you very, very much. One time I heard someone say this: when you learn something that changes your life, then you have a responsibility to share it. And that's really what we're doing. And guess what? Now I'm going to say, tag, you're it. Because now it's your turn. But the cool thing is, when you do this, anybody can do this. This ketosis, oh, that's not going to work, Char. When we do ketosis, the first thing that happens is water that you're carrying. I think we're okay. Water that's carrying leaves. And there's a whole science to that, but your water weight will disappear. Well, you'll use it up. Let it go out. And the second thing is your waist weight begins to whittle. That's exactly what happens. Water, and then waist starts to go down. It sounds like something I would like, right? So with all of this ketosis, and anybody, oh gosh, Jar.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. That's okay. Then anybody can do it. I want to tell you that, just remember the first thing we said, I think doing keto, trying keto, is like a complicated math. You either know the shortcuts and you get some of the answers right some of the time, or you actually know the formulas and you get every answer right all of the time. They're the high scorers, the high achievers, they're the doers. Okay? It takes a little bit of work, but we all know that in life, the rewards really are in direct proportion to the effort put in. But there's effort, and then there's right effort, right? I could do a lot of running around. Look at how hard I'm working and get nothing accomplished. Or I can do simple, straightforward, right action and achieve my goals faster than I ever imagined possible. So the idea of this keto craze, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really having a bad time with my markers. I have all my markers. Let's try orange. There we go. So with the idea of this keto craze, if this video today was of any value, any benefit, it made you go, oh my gosh, that's a nice way to connect the dots. I actually get it now. Well, I have a community, and some of you are here tonight, and I thank you for being here. We call ourselves Shift Insiders. We apply the science of ketosis. Okay, now you know what that is. It's a metabolic thing that every human can wield. Otto Warburg did it for cancer. Dr. Wilder did it for epilepsy. Do you know that it's used to treat autism too? Parkinson's and MS, fibromyalgia, diabetes. Why? Because it allows our body just to work as it naturally should. So if you would like to join me in being coached to achieving that beautiful state called ketosis, shiftinsider.com is the place to go to. Can you see that? Shift hyphen.
No, try the black. It's
insider.com. Okay. Live performances are always exciting because you never know what's going to happen. And that's not going to work either, Char. Okay, here we got blue. Wait. That's a dry erase. This is the one that, here we go. Ah, look at that. That's another thing we do at Shift Insiders. We do not get discouraged. If we have a problem, we keep trying till we get it right. And you know what? If you're not making mistakes, maybe you're not trying enough, right? Someone said that to me. I was like, what? I don't want to make mistakes. Well, welcome to the human race, right? So shiftinsider.com. Sometimes we just need someone to say, hey, follow me. Not only have I been there, actually I've been there for 5 years now. I live the science of ketosis, okay? That doesn't mean I'm always in ketosis. That doesn't always mean that I'm eating in a strategic, hyper-focused way. But I'm telling you, if you would like to wield the power of fat burning at will, whenever you want, this is the place to be. I guide you straight to it. I coach our insiders every Monday night live. We have access to each other through a private Facebook page and email and texting. We do video workouts together. If exercise is something that's fun for you, it's not mandatory. You can shift without exercising at all. Yay! But if you enjoy the emotional component of exercise, yeah, We have that going on too. I get in the kitchen, we do videos and show you simple recipes, although shifting is not recipe driven or recipe laden. Just more options for you to use. Every Monday morning we get together and do our Monday mindset. We motivate ourselves for the week to stay fixed point on the horizon. What are we trying to achieve for the week? And we do that motivational mindset. We also have our Shift Insider Works, which is my favorite part. And that is a series of exercise kind of workbooks, I call them. I was a school teacher. I love me my workbooks. But they're about harnessing the power of your mental resources. Our thoughts, our feelings create allostatic load that actually can deteriorate or enhance our health. So we get into the whole thoughts and feelings part of total health. And I and my husband and my daughter Erin believe and know that this program it's the answer. We give a full 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can come and try it out. It's a month-to-month membership. Cancel at any time. And you know it's me. And you met my dog Blue, and a lot of you have met my husband Charlie. So we're just real people delivering real science and just getting real results. You know, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you are not meant to have to willpower your way and endure those incessant food cravings that unravel every single human being. You're not meant to have to carry an extra burden of body fat that you just cannot seem to eradicate from your life. And the reason you can't is because you've been following the rules. But it's been the wrong rules. These are the rules that are just accurate for human beings and all bodies. And once we understand that, we can just get there. So no more resisting food cravings, no more carrying the weight of excess body fat, and no more enduring. Maybe you felt this, because I know we felt it. The repeated failure from all your efforts that just didn't create any desired change. You know, I always say, come inside. Learn the science once and for all. You are worth it. And here's the other thing I've learned in life. The universe will put us in a position when we are ready. It's like, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? And that happened to me. And now I'm hoping that I can be that happen to you. Now, if you have any questions out there, I'd be glad to answer them. I'm so glad June helped me with the polar bears that don't actually hibernate. Remember, everybody, it's grizzly, brown, and black bears that hibernate. But interesting thing about the ketosis, right? Okay, I think I'm going to sign off for now. I don't think we have any questions coming in. Thank you so much for honoring me with the privilege of sharing what I've learned. And
John is checking in.
John's checking in? Just checking in?
Joining tomorrow.
Oh, John!
Yep.
Nice! Come on in, John. I'm telling you, we are, you know, we're fired up in here in Shift Insiders because once we shift, that's like, yay! But then we start helping other people shift and we constantly enjoy each other's accomplishments because we feed off of each other. You know, we talk about the science of vibrational energy, thoughts and feelings come from how we are physically feeling. And we can shed the weight of metabolic mayhem. The vibration inside us becomes so much higher. There's low vibration and then there's high vibration. And that's exactly what we bounce all off of each other. That's what we call ourselves fit and fisticuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off for now. Again, thank you for your time. ShiftInsider.com, and I'll be in there waiting for you. Come inside and see me. To ketosis. See ya.